There lived two great families, the Williams and the Carters. Their names opened doors to the highest circles. Their influence stretched across business, politics, and their children walked with confidence of royalty. Among these children were Ray Williams and Diane Carter, two young souls bound by love as deep as the ocean. From the moment they met in high school, their hearts became inseparable. Theirs was a love like in the old folk tales, full of laughter, dreams, and promises whispered beneath the golden sunset. Their families were more than friends, they were allies, business partners, and powerful forces that shaped the city's future. The Williams owned sprawling real estate empires, while the Carters controlled major oil and gas industries. Together, they were unstoppable. But just as no river flows forever without meeting a rock, the peace between the two families came to a bitter end. It began with whispers, disagreement over business deals, suspicions that turned into accusations, and trust that cracked like broken glass. No one knew the full story, but soon, the Williams and the Carters, once bound in unity, became sworn enemies. At first, Ray and Diane believed their love would withstand the storm. What did their family's career have to do with them? They promised to stay together no matter what, but they were young and the weight of their family's anger was heavy. One evening, Diane's father, Mr. Carter, called her into his study. His face, usually full of warmth, was now cold and stern. "You will end things with Ray," he commanded. Diane's heart pounded. "But father, we love each other." "There is no love between the Williams and the Carters anymore, and there will be none between you and that boy. You are my daughter and you will obey me." Diane fought tears back. "What if I don't?" Her father's eye darkened. "Then you will no longer be a Carter." It was a cruel choice, her love or her family. On the other side of the city, Ray faced the same battle. His mother, Mrs. Williams, sat him down, her eyes sharp with warning. "You will leave that girl, Ray," she said. "The Carters are no longer our friends. You have a future to think about." Ray clenched his fist. "Diane has nothing to do with the fight between our families. She has everything to do with it." His mother snapped. "You cannot love a Carter. It's over." Ray and Diane met one last time beneath the moonlight. Their hands trembled as they held each other, their hearts refusing to let go. "We'll find a way," Ray whispered. Diane shook her head. "We're just children to them. They will never let us be." A heavy silence fell between them. Finally, with tears glittering in her eyes, Diane stepped back. "Goodbye, Ray." Ray's voice cracked. "Goodbye, Diane." And just like that, their love, once so strong, crumbled beneath the weight of their family's war. Heartbroken, Ray threw himself into distractions. He began spending time with new friends, going to parties and burying his pain in the fast life of Lagos' wealthy elite. And that was when he met Joyce. Joyce was beautiful, smart, and fun. Everything a young man would want. She wasn't Diane, but she made him forget, even if it's just for a while. They started dating, and though Ray never said it aloud, a part of him wished he could truly love her. Diane, on the other hand, withdrew from the world. She focused on her studies, keeping her heart locked away like a treasure no one could steal. She heard about Ray and Joyce, and though she pretended not to care, the pain there was buried deep. But life moved forward, whether they were ready or not. One evening, Joyce sat in her bedroom, staring at a pregnancy test in her trembling hands. Positive. Her heart raced. She was carrying Ray's baby. Panic gripped her. Ray had never spoken of a future with her. He was still healing from Diane, and now he was leaving. He had just been accepted to a prestigious university in America to study engineering. Joyce thought of telling him, but fear held her back. What if he left anyway? What if he didn't love her enough to stay? So she made a choice. She would not tell him, not yet. The night before Ray's flight, Lagos was alive with celebration. His family threw him a grand farewell party attended by the city's elite. Joyce was there smiling beside him, but the secret inside her heart felt like a weight she could barely carry. Diane was nowhere to be seen. She had no place in his life anymore. As the night ended, Joyce held Ray's hand tightly. "You'll keep in touch, right?" she asked. Ray nodded. "Of course, I'll come back." But deep down, Joyce knew that once he was gone, things would never be the same. And she was right. Ray's journey to America was long, filled with hopes of new beginnings and dreams of a future far from the pain of the past. The buzzing city of Lagos, with all its luxury and headaches, seemed so far behind him. There, he could focus on his studies and build a life separate from the tangled webs of his family's dispute. America was different. Ray threw himself into his studies, working tirelessly at the university. He made new friends, joined clubs, and often seen at parties where laughter filled the air. Yet, even in a land of new beginnings, there was one thing Ray couldn't escape: his loneliness. Back in Lagos, Joyce was living in a world that seemed so far from the life Ray had begun. She had kept her pregnancy secret, unsure of how to tell him. She watched as the months passed, her belly growing with the child they had created together. It was hard, difficult to keep a secret so big, especially when every day she longed to hear Ray's voice, to feel his support. But she made her choice that she would carry it alone. Months went by and Joyce raised their child, a beautiful baby girl named Emily. She kept her life as normal as possible, pretending to the world that nothing had changed. But deep inside, she knew she was holding on to a lie, and she was growing heavier with each passing day. Ray, meanwhile, went through his days in a haze, focusing on school and avoiding any thought of the past. He thought of Diane only in fleeting moments, memories of the girl who had once held his heart. But as time wore on, he buried those thoughts deep and deeper, refusing to allow himself to feel the sting of lost love. Then one day, a message arrived. It was from Joyce. Ray opened the message slowly, not knowing what to expect. The words, though simple, hit him like a thunderclap. "Ray, I need to tell you something. I have your daughter. She's our child. Her name is Emily. And I wanted to keep this from you, but I didn't know how to tell you. Please, don't be angry. I thought I could do this alone, but I can't. I need you." Ray stared at the screen, his eyes trembling, and his heart skipped. A daughter? He had a child? The news was like a thunderstorm inside him, a mixture of shock, confusion, and a deep sense of guilt. How had he not known? How had he let time slip by without knowing that a part of him, his flesh and blood, had been growing in another city? In the days that followed, Ray tried to make sense of the news. He couldn't bring himself to respond to Joyce immediately. The emotions swirled within him: fear, responsibility, and disbelief. Years went by and Ray continued to study, pushing himself to the top of his class. He joined internship, worked on engineering projects, and became well known in his field. He never returned to Lagos, not once, even when the thought crossed his mind. He has built a life for himself in America and it seemed to be enough. But deep down, something was missing. Joyce, on the other hand, continued to raise Emily with quiet grace. She focused on her work, taking up a job in a local law firm, and spent her evenings with her daughter. Her life, though filled with love, was often a lonely one. She had made peace with Ray's absence, but it didn't stop the ache in her heart. In the meantime, Diana tried to move forward as well. She threw herself into her studies, excelling in everything she did. But after the broken promise of real love, she found herself unable to fully trust anyone. She dated occasionally, but no one ever compared to Ray. It was 5 years later, and Ray had finished his studies and started working in a prestigious engineering firm in New York. He had made his name, but he had never forgotten Lagos, never forgotten the memories of Diane and the broken ties with his family. Something was calling him back, a deep need to return, to confront the past and see the city that had shaped him. So Ray boarded a flight back to Lagos, a city that had once been his world but now felt like a distant dream. He had no idea what awaited him, no idea that the past, long buried in his heart, was about to rise up and demand his attention. On a warm afternoon, Ray walked through the bustling mall in the heart of Lagos. The bright lights, the bumps of conversation, and the smell of street food brought him back into his youth. He had forgotten how much he had missed the city, the energy, the life of it all. And then it happened. As Ray walked past a boutique, he heard a familiar voice. Ray! He turned, and there she was, Diane Carter. Her beauty had only grown with time. She stood before him, her eyes wide with surprise. For a moment, the world seemed to stand still. Ray's heart raced. Diane, on the other hand, felt her breath catch in her throat. She had never expected to see him again. All these years, here he was standing before her as though no time has passed. She fought to keep her emotions in check and unsure of what to say. Diane, Ray's voice was soft, unsure. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Then Diane broke the silence. It's been a long time, she said, her voice steady, though her heart was anything but calm. Ray smiled nervously. Yeah, a really long time. The years between them seemed to vanish in that distance. There was no awkwardness, no bitterness, only the strange pull of a love that had never quite died. The reunion between Ray and Diane after 5 years apart was nothing like either of them had imagined. In the years since their painful breakup, both has grown into different people, shaped by experiences, time, and distance. Yet, when their eyes met again, it was as though the years had melted away, leaving only the shared history between them. They sat down at a small cafe in the mall, the world bustling around them, yet their conversation seemed to slow time. How have you been? Ray asked, his voice soft. Diane smiled. I've been fine. I graduated, worked for a while, and now I'm helping my father with some of the family business. Ray nodded, impressed but not surprised. Diane had always been smart, determined. And you? She asked. You seem different, changed. Ray laughed. I guess I've grown up a bit, but it's been a while though, and it's been a wild ride. He didn't mention the loneliness he has felt often. But there was something else now, something more even important, the child he had never known or talked about. The secret between that Joy kept. For the moment, though, he kept the secret to himself. So Diane said after a pause, her gaze steady. Why are you back in Lagos, Ray, after all this time? Ray smiled flatter, and for a moment, he didn't know what to say. I guess I came back to face things. I don't know. To see the city again, to see you. His word hung in the air between them. Diane's eyes softened, but there was also a flicker of something, perhaps hopes, perhaps fear. I never thought I'd see you again, she said. I didn't know how to hold on to something that was already slipping away. Ray said, I'm sorry, I should have stayed. I should have fought for us. I was young and scared. But there's no excuse. You didn't deserve to be left like that. Diane looked at him. It's okay. So, what now? She said. What do you think can fix after all these years? Ray swallowed hard, unsure of what to say. The truth was, he didn't know. I don't know, he said, but I want to find out if you are willing to let me. I don't know if I can just forget what happened, Diane said, her voice tight. It wasn't just you leaving, Ray. It was everything that came after. The way you just vanished, the way you were nothing to me anymore. Ray's chest tightened as the pain in her heart voiced out. I never wanted to hurt you, Diane, he said, his voice raw, and I know I can't undo the past. But please, let's try again. For a moment, Diane said not. I don't know, she whispered. I'm not the same girl I was back then. And I am not sure I can pick up where we left off. Ray convinced her, but you can, for the love we shared. Over the next few months, they spent time together to rekindle their lost love. One evening, under the soft glow of the city's light, Ray surprised Diane with a proposal. I know we've been through so much, he said, kneeling down before her in the quiet of the park. But I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me, Diane? Diane's eyes widened in surprise. She hadn't expected this, not now, not after everything. Then she whispered, "Yes, I will marry you." The days leading up to Ray and Diane's wedding were filled with excitement. The city of Lagos buzzed with preparation, guests arriving from all over. It was supposed to be the happiest day of their lives, a celebration of love, a symbol of new beginnings after so much pain. Diane couldn't help but smile as she imagined herself walking down the aisle. Ray, on the other hand, was filled with a sense of nervous excitement. He had never imagined a day like this would come, not after the years of headache. The night before the wedding, Ray lay awake, his mind racing. He was thinking of the life they would share together for and forever. The morning of the wedding arrived and the church was filled with guests, their laughter and conversation filling the air. The music and the moment Diane had dreamed about was finally here. She looked radiant in her white gown, her smile brighter than the morning sun, as she made her way to the altar with her father. Ray's heart skipped a beat when he saw her. She was more beautiful than ever imagined. His mind raced with thought of their future, of the life they would build together. But as Diane reached the altar, just as the priest began to speak the words that would join them in holy matrimony, the door of the church burst open. The crowd fell silent. We've come to the end of this first part. I hope you're enjoying this story. Please stay tuned for the second part.